Welcome to Keto Meals and Recipes.com. It's been a while since I posted a vegetable side dish, so today I'm going to show you how I make my easy, tasty, and budget-friendly broccoli and cauliflower gratin casserole. This casserole is a low-carb keto vegetable side dish that is gluten-free and extremely nutrient-dense. And the thing I'd like to stress with all of my recipes, they're not just for people on a keto diet. My family is mixed. Some of us are keto, my kids are mostly not, and I have one child who is not interested in any of the keto lifestyle at all. But that child also really loves these recipes, and that's how I test everything I make. I think the best way to have a keto lifestyle is to make food that is so delicious that everyone will love it and you won't be isolated for being keto. In this video, I will also show you how to pair the broccoli and cauliflower gratin casserole with a variety of entrees, such as a variety of chicken side dishes or beef side dishes or pork side dishes. The macronutrient ratio for this broccoli and cauliflower gratin casserole is 2.3 to 1, with 10.4 grams of total carbs, 3 grams of soluble fiber, 0.9 grams of insoluble fiber, resulting in 6.4 grams of net carbs per generous serving. As I mentioned, this is an incredibly easy recipe to make, and it actually only took me about 10 minutes to do all the prep. So begin by gathering up all of your ingredients. Cut up the broccoli into small bite-sized pieces. Also use your stems, cut them into small medallions that are about the thickness of a quarter. And do the same for the cauliflower. Then set these two vegetables aside. Next, I'm going to grease the inside of my oven-proof casserole with butter. In this video, I'm going to use the Gruyere cheese, which is used in the original French-style gratin recipes. But because Gruyere is extremely expensive, especially in my area, I'm going to pair it with full-fat mozzarella. Now, using the large holes of your box grater, grate both the cheeses. By the way, if you can't find Gruyere cheese in your area or find the cost of Gruyere prohibitive, a good substitute is extra old or sharp white cheddar. After grating both of these cheeses, keeping them in separate piles for now, set the grated cheese aside for a moment. It's now time to preheat your oven to 370 degrees Fahrenheit or 188 degrees Celsius, or as I set it, to 190 degrees Celsius. The next thing we're going to do is to make the easy gluten-free white sauce. This sauce is kind of like a bechamel sauce, but not exactly. To my saucepan, placed over medium heat, I add the unsalted butter, and when it's melted, I pour in the unsweetened almond milk, or you could actually use any nut milk or seed milk of your choice. I also pour in a bit of heavy whipping cream because I want a nice thick sauce. Drizzle in the black pepper and also the salt and also the nutmeg. If you can, use freshly grated nutmeg. You'll find that it tastes so much better and the smell is heavenly. Stir everything together and cook until the liquid is nice and hot and you can see it sizzling around the perimeter and is starting to steam. At this point, slowly add each of the cheeses, stirring as you add so that the cheese does not clump in the pot. Continue cooking until you see that the cheese has fully melted in the liquid. Because I want a really nice thick sauce and not just the liquid at the bottom of my casserole, I'm going to sprinkle a bit of glucomannan or konjac root powder to further thicken this sauce. And as you sprinkle the glucomannan or konjac root powder, stir immediately. This way you'll prevent clumping. Continue cooking for a couple minutes and then remove the pot from the stove top. Just to emphasize how I cut up my broccoli, but first I want to show you the size of the broccoli florets and stem parts I cut up earlier. See, they're not exactly bite-sized, they're just a teeny bit bigger because they will get smaller as they cook. Also, as you can see, the cauliflower florets are about the same size as the broccoli. Keeping both of these vegetables the same size will ensure that the cooking time will be the same and they'll be at the same texture when they're all done. Because I want a nice mix, I like to toss my two vegetables together before I put them into the casserole. If in the process of transferring the cauliflower and broccoli into the casserole dish, you notice that you have an uneven distribution, just rearrange so that you have as close to equal amounts of each of these throughout the casserole. Now, get the saucepan and pour the liquid over the vegetables. I have forgotten to mention that after grating your mozzarella, separate some of it away, maybe a quarter or a third of the mozzarella, and reserve it. And the reason you want to reserve it, because at this point you're going to take the reserved mozzarella and sprinkle it over the top of the casserole. And that's all there is to the prep. Now it is time to transfer your casserole into the middle position of your preheated oven and bake for 20 minutes. When your timer goes off, remove from the oven and let the gratin rest for 10 to 15 minutes. And the reason to let it rest is twofold. First, it's extremely hot and you would burn your mouth if you served right away. Also, it allows the liquid to absorb more fully into the vegetables. Actually, there's a third reason. The sauce does thicken up as it cools. And that's all there is to making this delicious and healthy cruciferous vegetable gratin. If you're thinking, oh, this is way too much for me, I'm only feeding 1 or 2 people, you'll be really pleased to know that you can partition this off into single serving quantities and put it in a freezer-safe container, label it, and freeze it. But if you're making this as a big batch or prep ahead, and you want to heat it up by rebaking, bake for only 10 minutes, then freeze it. But when you're ready to use your prep ahead frozen gratin, just take it out of the freezer, let the vegetables thaw, put it into an oven-safe pan or casserole dish, and heat for 10 to 15 minutes. And then enjoy. As I hinted at the beginning, this broccoli cauliflower gratin casserole goes extremely well with many protein dishes, such as my Italian lemon lamb chops, or if you prefer it with beef, serve with steak provençal. Another option would be to serve it as a side dish with my bacon-wrapped pork loin stuffed with feta and sage. Broccoli and cauliflower gratin goes perfectly with this. It also goes well with my 2-ingredient roasted chicken. And I also served it as a side dish with my chicken fries, which I then made for lunches for us. I hope that these meal suggestions are helpful when you're doing your weekly meal planning. Thank you very much for watching my video. The link for the printable recipe for this broccoli and cauliflower gratin, as well as all other mentioned video recipes, are in the description box below. I greatly appreciate your support and time. And please come back when I post my next video. In the meanwhile, check out the end links for some more tasty ideas. I hope you have a wonderful day and all the best to you. Cheers!